make a more sharp edge around the edge right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and convert this to an... Actually, I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm just going to bring it over here and attach it to my object right here. So go back into your base thing object and attach it to this new shape over here. Okay, so find the coordinates of the ceiling face right here. And we basically just want to center this new object right here to the center of that face. I've explained this a million times, so it's the same concept as before. To make that face right side up, or actually upside down in this case because it's on the ceiling, just go into the flip button and just click it once, and that'll flip the face, or the normals, to face the other direction. Okay, now we want to delete this top face so we can connect it with that. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and select this face in the middle and extrude it downward. Okay, so go ahead and click the box beside extrude and extrude it by 5 units. Okay, now we're going to create the small indentation in the middle of this. So select your polygon, go into the inset tool, and set it by a value of 3. And so we have the rounded edges around here. As you can see, they're still there, but they're decreased in size dramatically. I'm going to do it manually by selecting these two vertices and welding them together with a value of 5. I'm just going to do that with every corner here. Now I'm going to go ahead and extrude this in with a value of negative 2.5. Then I'm going to select the corners of this in edge selection mode and go ahead and chamfer them with a value of, I think it should be about 2. Yeah, it looks about right. The corner is about the same size as the outside corner, so I think it looks pretty good. Now you can see there's some poly wastage here, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean up something real quick. I'm going to target all the vertices that aren't being used to the edge. Alright, that looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and create that circle thing right there. To do that, I'm gonna go into the standard primitives and create a torus. Now you have to be very careful when creating these things because they can be quite high poly and still look pretty bad, but depending on how many polys you want to use, you need to adjust it to whatever this is going to be going into. For me, I'm going to create it with 8 segments. Actually, I'm going to create it with a radius of 10, or first radius of 10, that is. Second radius of 2, 12 segments, and 8 sides. Now, even though that doesn't look that great, that's already a lot of polygons right there. You can find out how many it is by hitting the 7 key. That's 192 faces for that small piece of geometry. If you wanted to lower the polygon count, your best bet would probably be the amount of sides it has. As you can see, the further you take it down, the less polygons there are. But I'm going to be using this amount, which probably isn't a good idea for you, but I'm going to be using this amount. So just kind of hang in there with me. I kind of tend to use too many polygons sometimes when modeling because I just want something to look good, but it's probably a bad habit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this onto its side 90 degrees. Go back into my model right here and attach it to this new torus. Select the middle face of that indentation and copy the coordinates from there into this thing. Just of course to line up everything correctly like I normally do. Now I'm just going to raise this up. Okay, now that that's done, we have to attach the top of this to right there. So to create a flat edge on the top here, I'm going to go ahead and select all of the edges that make up the top of the ring right here. I'm going to chamfer them by a value of about, let me see, should be about 3.5. Okay, that looks decent. Now what I gotta do is create a cylinder connecting this to the top of here. So go ahead and go into your shape section, go into line, your left viewport, or whichever one your lines up correctly. I'm just going to, actually that's kind of confusing for you, I'm just going to do it right here. Just click and drag out a line. Go under rendering and check the enable and render and enable and viewport. Make the thickness however thick the bar was up there that we just did. Alright, so something just screwed up right there, but it's okay. Just go ahead and recreate your line. And what just created that thing right there is I checked the enable render and enable and viewport. That basically just creates a cylinder without having to deal with the cylinders in the geometry section. So make it however thick your bar up there was, which I believe was 2 units. And go ahead and make it 8 sides. Oh, I think that looks pretty good. I'm just going to decrease the size here. And flip it upright, 90 degrees. Bring it up here. Dang it. Okay, something messed up yet again. I'm so sorry for this. Though it should be an easy fix, so I'm just going to fix it right here. Go ahead and turn this into an edible poly. As you can see, it's kind of tilted there, and that's something we do not want. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete everything on top. What I'm left with this one face on the bottom. Select the border, hold down shift, lift up, and then click the cap button. That just created a whole new cylinder just like that. There's some extra vertices, edges on the bottom we don't want, so select those and backspace them. Okay. Yeah, it's something else messed up. Okay, once again, I'm sorry for that. For some reason, it just keeps messing up for me. I don't know why. So, for some reason, the thickness as well was getting messed up, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a more direct approach I didn't think of before. Select the edges making up the middle of this, and only those edges. Let's see, it's just the middle ones right there. Go ahead and scroll down and click the create shape from selection button. This will create a new shape. Click the linear shape type so nothing gets messed up. Go ahead and drag this over the new shape over there. If I get selected, that is. Nothing's working out. Alright. Okay, you can see that the gizmo is quite offset with this shape right here, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the hierarchy mode. Select the effect pivot only and center to object. That'll center it to it. Go ahead and go back into the modify mode and disable, enable, and render, enable, and viewport. Just disable those, and that'll create just the line. That's what we want, because everything else was just messing up. So go ahead and convert that to an editable poly. Select the border, hold down the shift key, drag it down, and then cap it. And that's a quick way of creating that cylinder right there, which should be accurate this time. And as we can see, it is matching up perfectly, so that's great. Now what we're going to do is attach it to the top here, so just go ahead and center it with your element right here. Actually, first we need to select this and attach it to this new cylinder because it's not attached already. Do that and center it to this element right here. Just lift it up. I'm going to delete this top face of this cylinder right here because it's not being used. I'm going to find the coordinate on the z-axis of this face up here, which is obviously that. Select the border of the top of the cylinder, paste the coordinates, and now bring it up to the exact same level as that right there. Now what we want to do is go ahead and delete this polygon. Select both of the borders right